In this video, I want to show you how you can create, download, and use a smallest generative AI model directly on this $5 device. This is ESP32S3 with a teeny tiny cameras up front. So I'm going to use it at two different versions. It depends which one you prefer. One it can be cost anywhere from $5–8. Another one's anywhere from $7–12, depend where you buy. Going to use the little bit more beef up versions because it's have a back LCD screen, and this has allowed us to use it with a joystick as teeny tiny camera. To download it all source code and included page, you can go down to GitHub, going to the code right here, and copy and clone or download it as a zip file and open on your computer. It does not require any special installations. To run, you can go inside the UI folder, and from here you can go execute the index.html file. Keep in mind, if you just run index.html, you cannot flush the card directly from the web interface or train model because it's have some JavaScript protection. For this, you need to run the script which execute Python, and next open this link in your browser, which will have it exactly same type of the browser, only now you can run directly from the web. Create your model with the different resolutions and upload it directly to your device via USB-C. First, let's go over page and see how it's work and why I say it's true AI model. If we're going down below, you'll notice right here we have a proof of how kind of hardware use it. This is a little bit more information and we'll find more data down below, but just general, this is answer three main questions about how it's used, how it's exactly converting information. As well, because these cards, they have a two types memory, and we'll use it PC RAM or SRAM. It's a little bit performance test I was running, and you can see it does decrease slightly speed, but not enough. So for the bigger models, you can feel free to create larger and use PSRAM without any big effect on the processing. Okay, let's look how it's work. Right here we have it our camera, teeny tiny, and we take the pictures. After we take pictures, it is needed downsample. And here's probably the biggest shocker you may have it, because when you take it, you'll see I have a good resolution of the image. Why my image in the end will have it a less resolution? And this is the reason because how the matrix is calculating, because the AI model was trained and down simple distilled to smaller. It's like remove a lot of information. That way we can compress this, put it inside teeny tiny storage, and run on this a little bit slow processor to do that job. We are downsampling. Next, how I said before, we quantize, we reducing information. In some cases, if you think quantizations in a simple word, saying you have this data and you just pull out some data from this data set, trying to keep it same structure without crashing and collapsing down. It's a if you play Jingo game, just imagine this way, only much more advanced with the numbers when you try to pull out all of those pieces without crushing down. Next, we're also utilizing our neutral net, and you can see this is how going from quantization from one channels to another ones. Next, of course, we do our quantizations with a style layers, what we're processing, and we saving as an image in the end. Well, inside Nano Network, it's what happened. We have it our input. Next, we have it covered 3-2 step and process in the end. So right here, you can see standard and how it's also work with the pixel multiplications. So let's go ahead and preview a little bit on how there's a synthetic pairs and real conversions working. So if we have it our image, you can see right here about predictability, and it's happened with pre-trained. So we can actually pre-train from original models. We have it our predictions and our target on a pixel art. Just simple visual information you can kind of preview and see how it's work in this case. Okay, here's about our quantization. So remember I told you like a gigapuzzle. So this is what we're trying to do. And you can see where we try to work with our quantizations on an int 8. And by doing this scale, you can see we had 128 maximum on the resolutions. And it also tell you size and losses that may occur. Okay, we're going with more details. Obviously, if you're interested, you can read more about how it's performed or a look on our files. Below right here, we have it, our quantization tier. 128 by 128. It's at the best quality right now you can take it. It's still quite a bit small if you think about this, the size, but it is interesting as a concept. Or you can create this old Polaroid style photos. So the 32 will process extremely fast, 1.5 seconds, but it is teeny tiny and honestly, highly recognizable. More interesting as an experiment than practical use. Then you can select all different types, and notice right there where we have it purple, we start splitting with PC RAM. It's a little bit slower RAM, but it's located a little bit outside of the fast bus. It does will increase speed, but honestly, I did not see that much change in a speed. And because most models I'm actually doing in 128, will take about 24 seconds per photo to process. It's big different in the quality. Well, you'll see in a second. Okay, next we have our how it's performed in data move. So we are using, let's go right here. We are using our camera, which is processed on our PSC RAM with 8 megabyte. Next, we have our processor S3, which is have a dual core and run on 240. It does not have any GPU, it's just simple 2 CPU cores. We also using SRAM, and it's only 512 gigabyte. Kilobyte. You can see the problem here, and that's the reason why we're utilizing slow PS RAM, because it's much bigger size, 8 megabyte, to save some of this. We're also utilizing flash memory, which is stored data. And by the way, these devices that do have it right here, SD card, micro SD card with 1 gigabyte, it's where we have it store our photos. It is extremely slow. Reason only we're doing to store our photos because they're large and the big collections. And right there you can see on the bottom, it's where we're utilizing after processing, preview on our screen, we utilizing and we saving inside here. So this is a little bit more dive deep in, and I will just kind of briefly mention a couple things here for you so you can just overlook them. But if you're interested, I would welcome you to read a little bit more in details what is processed here. This is just a general what we're utilizing at the time, ESP32S3. You can utilize maybe just different Raspberry Pi or a little bit more powerful. For me, it was very interesting what we can pull out from these $5. Okay, so let's go ahead next. Down below right there, you can see we have it also link for if you're interested. This is affiliate link. It's meaning it costs you absolutely nothing. But if you purchase through the affiliate link, I have it like few cents kickback. So it's helped me kind of keep it interested to produce more of this stuff. Process what we're using. We're utilizing light, micro, and we are basing it. Does not train from zero ground model. We're actually training based on already existing model. We just applying specific quantization, minimizing. It's like already pre-built Lego blocks, and it's what we can use it. Down below you can see it's capture path, which is sensors we're using currently. This is our teeny tiny camera. Yes, our sensors what we're utilizing, and it's also explained on what pins for the card is using, as well utilizing what firmware, how we're uploading. And beside that, it's also utilizing working on those LEDs color, so they will tell you when it's take pictures, and it's also tell you what mode you are in, because if you can take pictures you can select this. And just for fun, because we actually have a speaker inside and microphone, it did produce the special click sound as a real camera. Down below, we have it our TensorFlow, and you can see here is more information on how much it's utilized, like for example, 1.1 megabyte here. And because you remember we stuck with only 512 kilobyte on our internal SRAM, when we pass this, we do need go to PSRAM to save all this data, and this is actually explained with all positioning on a matrix for our AI. As well, we have our layer parameters, and as I'm just skimping, if you're interested, you can look a little bit more how it's a work and how it's encoding. As well, quantizations. This is a little bit more in a math for those who are interested in memory gap of in the stylizations of the our capture, how it's working. Analysis, this is what style, how much produced, and how long it will take it. Of course, get, as said before, because PSRAM is slow, you will have it jump dramatically from like 1.7 to 24 seconds. So it's quite a bit. And of course, we have it realignment, positioning. I say, if you're interested in this, it's all in documentation, so you can read precisely what's happening, how it's work, and how all the stylizations work. It's just interesting to understand. And this information also may help you develop your own models. If you do so, please drop a link below, drop your comments below, let me know what you build with this, if it's inspired you to create some more fun, interesting stuff. Just display overall if we run any tests on our systems, and I do prefer the test developing platform, so it's actually all the stuff down below. Here is where we start already pre-build our model, and you have it options. You can actually build, well, you build everything here, and you can upload it directly to your processor, or you can run few simulations on your computer, and that's what we're going to do in a second. As I mentioned before, to run this on your own computer, you do need to run this Python application, so it's actually work. Otherwise, it just does not connect to our specific servers. And this is kind of designed like workflow down below. So let me explain. We are running our model training on int8 quantizations, utilizing with the TinyML. This is a matrix. If you think this is a tiny resolution, it's how many pixels we can use to train. Then you take these pixels and you create like three-dimensional matrix. It's in a simple words what I'm explaining. So the more you have it, the obviously more memories will take for all of those nodes to connect it, better quality, but it will take a quite bit processing time, and most important, memory. In our case, the fastest one is 32 by 32. I will show how it will work, and it's not necessarily the best result. And here you can increase. I usually work on the 128, the best resolution, best quality, and it's also built for the display, for example, my BIOS, so you can go down and select the quality of the processing image. So be sure you select this, because by default it will go to 32 to 32. Down below right here, it's actually training command you can run as you specify. Notice as we're changing, it does change all of these commands, so you can actually just copy paste them in your command prompt, or you can click down below and it will execute from our. So right there you can have it also select what type of you want it. You can create your own if you're interested, but for example, if we're going and we have it like the pixel art, Apache using 10 was by default, but 0 automatic, and I would recommend, if you don't familiar with the training, just leave it on a 0. It's best way. And quantizations is pre-default to int8. Just click train model and it will perform training of the model. Right here is actually explaining how it's work. So let's go just example. We'll go to select 128 here, and let's select Van Gogh swirl, and we'll click to train model. Well, as you train model, you see our teeny tiny dinosaurs will go around and try pre-build that model for us. And sometimes he need to run very, very fast to be sure he build just in time when everything is completed. After we reach 100%, I think our dinosaur a little bit slacking. Yes, he need to work a little bit faster, but general, we're done right here, and we can preview our firmware. And this is completed. Okay, let's go down below. Here you can also just upload directly to your style, and you'll notice the buttons green or yellow when it's uploading faster, flashing. Down below you can also select what styles you want to apply directly to your ESP32, so you can check uncheck if you don't want some styles or you want all of them. Each additional styles does take a little bit space, so be careful. Uh, just don't overload it if you don't go crazy. But right here you can preview what is this each style will do for you. Down below, this is actually, we can test these specifically models on our computer. First, let's go choose our image. And I'm choosing a very high resolution image, which will crop to our, and you'll notice this is a very high resolution, but as it's cropped, it's make 128, so it's a small image. Next, we'll use it, select what model we wanted, and well, let's go with the 32 pixel art. This is the worstest one overall. We can run this model and you can see it's how it's performed. Okay, let's increase. And this is our 64 by 64. You can see resolutions going around VOG, and 128. It's definitely improved in quality because we are creating a little bit better resolution. It is not your Midjourney or any super models that will create and shocking you, because if you can create shocking result on this tiny device, everyone will use them. But it's a very interesting experiment, and see how much we can shrink our model and use it inside this inexpensive $5. Okay, so right here you can preview. After this, you can also connect directly to your card. When it's connecting, you can manipulate, pass specifically information in and out, download, upload images from here. You can also see the all processing, what it was doing when it was training, or what's happening in the usual real time. And also you have it, the download, upload all cache directly, as I said, connecting to your card through the USB-C. If you're interested to support my work, down below you'll find information to my LinkedIn, GeekatPlay, as well my YouTube channels. And your support is greatly appreciated. I hope this project will be fun for you. You can find more information than I'm showing here directly on the GitHub. Submit some of your comments. Maybe you want to readjust code. Great branch, more than welcome. And this one, if you're here, just click the star. Right now I have it 0 star. If you think this project is worth it, just give it extra star to support the project itself. Thank you for watching this video, and we'll see you next time.